What's going on, guys? Tanner here with Tanner Phifer NFL on Twitter. I had to mute another tab real quick, so sorry about that little delay. How's everyone doing? Hope you all had a Merry Christmas. We're joined here by the NFLRumors Twitter account. Welcome and good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Hope you start feeling better there, Tanner. I know that you've been under the weather a bit. It's never fun when that's
I
going
have
on.
been under the weather, that's for sure. But life doesn't stop, and I'm always excited to talk about football. So nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and got to spend some time with your families. Hey, keep on the lookout for that giveaway for the discount codes. I'm going to be messaging the winners today. I have 5 winners. I've drawn them. I just got to message the winners. So we'll make sure that I'll get that message out today. So be on the lookout.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, we got more giveaways coming on the channel. Hopefully down the road a bit. But man, let's talk about what we saw last night. Did you get to watch any of the game, Cowboys Titans?
Yeah, definitely. I watched all the game. Josh Dobbs was very impressive just being there with just 8 days. Just being there 8 days. Cowboys really struggled
Yeah,
the
they did.
first half. Then they came alive in the second half. I mean, the Titans stayed alive as long as they could, but they was playing with a lot of backups on offense. Josh Dobbs looked a lot better than Malik Willis that has looked. Malik Willis just seems like he's not ready yet. I mean, he played at Liberty. He's a really good guy. Definitely, he's got a good head on his shoulders. I just think it's going to take him a little bit of time to develop in the NFL. It's no
Yeah.
hit against Malik Willis. He could end up being great. He's just not ready right now, to go.
I want him to succeed so bad. It's just like he looks kind of like I don't know, him and Josh Dobbs remind me of each other. They're both mobile, very mobile, same sort of body style, but it's like they both look like NFL quarterbacks. But last night, Josh Dobbs proved that he can at least manage this offense while he needs to. And Malik Willis is not ready.
Yeah. Well, just thinking about this, if you look at it, the last 3 games, Malik Willis had 234 passing yards and 3 interceptions.
Yep.
Right. And Josh Dobbs last night had 2 yards less than he had over 3 games. He had 232 yards and a touchdown interception. So Josh Dobbs has 6 years of experience. As the broadcast was talking last night, he's played in the on the scout teams. He's played there working with Ben Roethlisberger. He's been working with, he's worked with Deshaun Watson. Worked with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, he's worked with a lot of different people. Jared Goff.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, he's more ready at this point, and what we're hearing is he's going to start against Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, this was still his first career start in 6 years of being in the league, which is hard to believe he's already been in the league for 6 years. I feel like Dobbs was just in college at Tennessee, but I liked him in college and I like him here in the NFL. He proved that he can manage that offense with just a little bit of time under his belt. But man, let's talk about their matchup against the Jaguars. I don't think the Titans have a chance against these red hot Jaguars.
Well, yeah, I think when you're looking at court, it's going to take something, right, to beat the Jaguars, in my opinion. I think the Jaguars of Trevor Lawrence is really, really good. I think that they're definitely one of the hottest teams if you look at how things are going. I think overall Jacksonville's played really good. Their defense is playing really good. Um, Trevor Lawrence is, playing really well. Evan Ingram has really came on, the ex Giant tight end. He's really came on. You got the ex Raider wide receivers, Zay Jones, who's playing great.
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean,
Dude, the Jags have made some moves. I
mhm,
think a lot of people thought they were gonna, kind of crazy just for spending the money that they did, but it's
yeah,
paying off right now. And let's talk about it. I think that wait one second.
sure.
Sorry. Uh I think the Jags are the only team in the NFL right now to have 360 reception receivers with over 600 yards. Is that now that
Yeah,
was a stat of like 2 weeks ago. Maybe that's not true anymore.
I
But
would say it's still true, right? But
yeah, that was Zay Jones, tight end Evan Ingram, and who's their other wide receiver? Was it Marvin Jones maybe that has over 60 catches right now?
I don't know if it will be Marvin Jones. I don't think he's had that year. I think it was Christian Kirk.
Oh, duh, yeah, Christian Kirk, who has been putting up wide receiver one numbers. He's the one that changed the wide receiver market in the offseason.
Yeah, he
No
got
one
a
thought
lot of
Christian Kirk
slack
would do
too.
that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he got a lot of slack at the time saying Jaguars overpaid for him. And but I mean, I don't it looks like it was a good move by Trent Baalke. He I think overall they did a good job. They knew what they wanted. They put the right people in there. Evan Ingram wants to stay with the Jags. He's a free agent. I think that's something to monitor. I mean, he could have a decent market too, because would have to look at the tight end market just to double check. But I'm pretty sure that there's not a huge tight end market this year.
I don't think there is. And you know what, dude? It's been crazy. Like, and we can move this on into the fantasy segment here because in fantasy football, there's been like one good tight end all year long, and that was Travis Kelsey. Evan Ingram has really come along towards like the second half of the season, but
Hmm.
like just tight end wise in fantasy football, it was a question mark all year.
Yeah, the only person that's really playing well, I mean, right now, if you got him on your team, is George Kittle. The last few weeks under Brock Purdy, he's been really stout. I mean, he's been one of the top tight ends in fantasy football if you have George Kittle. But likely you would have probably had to draft him high to have George Kittle right now.
Yeah, or someone offered to trade for him. They sold high or sold low on Kittle, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I had a trade offer for him. Somebody wanted T.J. Hawkinson, and they were going to trade me Kittle and someone else. It was like a bundle deal for Hawkinson,
Hmm.
and I rejected it. And then, of course, the very next week, Purdy comes in, lights it up with and lights it up with George Kittle.
Yeah, he did really well. Brock Purdy's done really well with George Kittle. It seems like he's really favoring him, and especially with Deebo Samuel that's been out. I think that's somebody that if you have, he's a must start for sure. Um, one of probably the biggest fantasy news is the championship week and all the injuries. I mean,
Oh
right,
my
right
injuries, and
now,
then they just rest every year. They rest, starters in week 17.
right, exactly. Tony Pollard, he was a little banged up last night, and they decided to rest him. Couldn't go, and then you got Derrick Henry, who a lot of people have on their team, and so when you're looking at that, Derrick Henry out. I mean, it's going to change a lot of championships. And Lamar Jackson is trending to miss again this week. And Lamar Jackson's, a lot of people's go to in fantasy football because of the rushing aspect of things.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
think he hasn't practiced all week, has he?
no, I don't think he's a practice for a while. I mean, I think I was reading, I might be wrong about this, but I think it's like 11 plus days or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's not good.
Nope. So I think it's like we tweeted out yesterday. He's trending not to play, which is what we've been hearing. And
Yeah,
but
that sounds right.
yep. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at, right? Is uh, Lamar will probably affect a lot of fantasy leagues, and a big fantasy um, part of it is Jalen Hurts, whether he can play. Now, some good news came out yesterday. We tweeted out is that Jalen Hurts is practice for the first time. Now, that's always a good sign when you're out there practicing.
Yeah, he was spotted at practice by those local reporters,
Yep.
and they haven't officially ruled him out. They're like, well, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. So obviously, Jalen Hurts wants to play. He will do what it takes to play, but at the end of the day, it's whether he's cleared. And of course, they're going to leave it, until like an hour before kickoff or something, whether they rule him out or not. So just keep your eyes on that, guys.
Yeah, another thing we just want to talk about before, I mean, I hate to, interrupt with the fantasy. Jordan Schultz messaged me last night, and he was telling me, well, he was first on it. Great job, Jordan. Is Titans safety Andrew Adams suffered a torn patella.
Oh, he did? I didn't even see that.
Yep. So he suffered a torn patella. Jordan messaged me last night, and we retweeted it as well. Looks like that'll take Andrew Adams out for the game for the Jaguars and out for the season.
Was he the one that was hurt in the end zone after a touchdown catch?
Yep, that's it. Yeah,
Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, yep.
Oh man.
So you heard it here, guys. Jordan was first on that, and appreciate
Good job by Jordan Schultz.
Yep. So definitely, I think that's going to be another big hiccup, as we kind of revert back to the Titan Jaguar game just for a second. There's another safety that's out.
That Titans team is already just banged up big time.
Yeah. I mean, single-handedly, honestly, let's talk. I mean, Josh Dobbs done really well. I want to circle back just for a second. Josh Dobbs done really well last night to play 8 games. I'm going to just say that. Great. They didn't have Derrick Henry, who's actually coming off a really, really good game, even though he was injured. But one of the things that you really want to think about on this is they was somebody that was single-handedly really kept the Jaguar or the Titans in the game. And that is their safety, who had 2 picks right last night. And they were really getting ready to the Cowboys were getting ready probably to run it away a little bit quicker, right? They was running away a little bit, would have been probably a little bit quicker on that than they would have later in the game. And that's Byard of the Titans, who had 2 interceptions. Kevin Byard, I'm sorry. 2 interceptions, 4 tackles last night. So
one of the best in the NFL. I mean, without a doubt.
Yeah, exactly. One of the best safeties out there. Definitely. And as we revert back to fantasy real quick, if you got the 49ers, and we're going to take it like from fantasy over to the Raiders, right, as we're talking, because that's what it's going to lead into. The 49ers defense, if you got them in fantasy, definitely you want to start them. Now, why? They're going to start Jarrett Stidham. You're talking about you're talking about their coach, Josh McDaniel, for a second. And I know I got a little bit of slack on Twitter. It's okay. It happens, right? But I said that Derek Carr, I didn't have no hate toward Dak. I know a lot of people's like, oh, Derek Carr's not the quarterback that Dak is, but that's not what I was really meaning, right? I was meaning that Derek Carr should have not been benched, right? Because him and Dak, if you look at quarterbacks, not saying that they're the same, but they had the same amount of interceptions, right? You let Derek Carr finish out the season. I'm going to tell you what we're hearing, right?
What's that?
They're saying that the reason that they're benching Derek Carr is they don't want to hurt his trade value, right? So that's big. That means that
keep him healthy. You mean
keep him healthy so that they don't have to worry about him having an injury the last 2 weeks if they need to trade him. They're going to
Okay.
open up a can of worms here, right? Like if
Uh-huh.
you're thinking about it, like Josh McDaniels said, I want to take a look at my rookie quarterback, right? Or not rookie, but Jared Stidham, a young quarterback, a young player is what he said. And you're going to take a look at him against you're going to put him in against a number one defense to take a look at him.
Well, I think the
Right.
Raiders have officially given up.
They are, yeah. Devontae Adams actually showed his support to Derek Carr, right? You know, he was like, Derek's my guy. You
Yeah,
know, he
yeah,
pretty
saw
much
that.
said it. I'm just like air quoting here, not the exact quote, but pretty much he said Derek Carr is his guy, right?
And he's like, yeah, he's basically the reason I wanted to come to Las Vegas.
Exactly,
And you've
exactly.
benched him.
And what you're doing here is we're going into the Raiders a little bit is not only are you about to trade Derek Carr or release him, one of two. Jordan said, Jordan also tweeted out
I saw that.
he could be released, right? He could be released because they had to release him within like three days or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I have to relook at it. But it's you have to release him, and we kind of reported that like we were one of the first on that. Right, a day before that, actually, Derek Carr got benched.
Oh,
We
really?
tweeted out. It's in our pinned tweets if you want to check it out. You know, we reported they could bench Derek Carr, which we heard from Sports Illustrated, right? And the Raiders have a 3-day window after the season to release Derek Carr,
Mm-hmm.
and they can save, and it saves over $5 million.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they could release him, right? I mean,
Dude,
it's
think about
definitely
it.
there.
Think about what's going on in Las Vegas.
Some bad
If you
stuff.
cut Derek Carr, you're firing Josh McDaniels at the end of the year. I mean, if they keep McDaniels, they
will keep McDaniels because pretty much they have made a decision, Tanner, right? They have made a decision that we want Josh McDaniels more than we want Derek Carr.
Stupid.
Yep, it is.
Absolutely stupid.
Yeah, they want Josh McDaniels. So here, I mean, a lot of Raiders fans, I mean, we have a big Raider following, and you know, a lot of them has messaged me and been like, hey, you know, fire Josh McDaniels. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So the Raiders, when you're looking at that, you're going to end up having to trade Devontae Adams too. I know that's
they're creating so much tension already with Devontae. Like, he's gonna want to be out of there, dude. If they're getting rid of Carr, he's out.
But let me tell you what Devontae Adams said. Right, this is very, very big in my opinion.
Okay.
Devontae Adams ended up saying, I'm not going to address my future with the Raiders right now. So if you were going to stay with no problem, you would be like, I'm just going to play with the quarterback that's here and do my best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't say that, right? He's supported Derek Carr, and he will, in my opinion, ask for a trade at the end of the season if they do not keep Derek Carr. If they release Derek Carr, it's going to be like a slap in the face in essence for Derek Carr.
Oh, for sure.
And that's going to make more tension with Devontae Adams, right? Because that's the reason he came.
They've already opened up a can of worms. Already.
Yeah, they're getting ready to open up even more. They're getting ready to change the big thing, right?
Think about the tension's already there with Devontae Adams. The tension's already there. They know he's a cut candidate. Adams, so you've got the tension with Adams. You've got the potential release or trade of Derek Carr.
Right.
And the fact that half or over half the fan base and possibly the team wants McDaniels out of there.
Yeah.
It's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, and you know something else when you think about this is here's what you really got to think about is their GM is linked to Josh McDaniels, right?
Yep.
Their GM is linked. So, it's Josh McDaniels' show, right? And that's exactly what it's going to be. So Josh McDaniels will be allowed to go get the quarterback of his choice. So we wrote an article on that. It's on our NFLRumors.com, and you can check it out. But we link the most viable people that Josh McDaniels might go after, right? That we think that he could be linked to. Number one, if you're looking for a young quarterback, Mac Jones. Mac Jones is not happy with the Patriots right now, right? The reason why is they've stuck him with the bum offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah.
And he's not happy. When he met up with the Raiders, when the Raiders played the Patriots, he was all love for Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels done really good things with Mac Jones. So that is my, possibly my number one. Number two, Tom Brady. Tom
Yeah.
Brady is somebody that Josh McDaniels really likes. Tom Brady has got a great chance of probably not returning to the Bucks because we reported this as well, that what we're hearing is Byron Leftwich will not return next season, barring right now. Let's say as of now, because you got to say that as of now, because if the Bucks get in the playoffs and they
Yeah.
make a run,
Different.
it's going to be a different story. They're going to end up keeping them, right, for sure. But as of now, if the Bucks trend to do what they're doing, he will not return.
Let's address this comment real quick. MB says Devontae isn't going anywhere. Dead money is through the roof, and beat writers already said Devontae is going to end up staying, and Devontae didn't go there just because of Carr.
And that's
Well,
not what Devontae said.
Devontae said, I'm here because of Derek Carr. He's practically come out and said that. He said, he's my guy. I'm here because of him. He's the reason I'm in Vegas. It's not like, that's not the exact quote, but you can go out there and you could find him and a video of him saying it. So I don't know, man. He might not be going anywhere just because of how much the team spent on Devontae Adams, but that doesn't mean the tension isn't there.
Well, actually, I want to make a point here about this, right? I actually got some numbers on this, Tanner. If they trade Devontae Adams,
Yeah.
After June, right? If they trade Devontae Adams after June, and you know how trades can happen, they can already set it up for that to happen. If that happens, they can actually save 6.6 million and have 7 million of dead money. So what that means is somebody might take some of that money from the Raiders,
Yeah.
to pay Devontae Adams for the trade, right? And
It's
then
almost like they planned for this.
yeah. So now I will tell you one thing is, if you look at Derek Carr, now I want to talk about Derek Carr. He's got $5 million of dead money, right? This is from overthecat.com, by the way. Shout out there. They're really great at this. And 29.2 million of cap savings if they release him. Right? Right. I mean, you're saving $30 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
Boats says, I wouldn't be surprised if Adams asked for a trade.
yeah,
Doesn't
I
mean
would
he
too.
would get it, though. I mean, yeah, it doesn't mean he's going to get it. And he may be on the Raiders, but I'm saying he's not going to be happy without Carr there.
Let me tell you the one thing that we put together that how do you I mean, he's not going to be happy with the Raiders, guys. Let's just be honest. He's not going to be happy with the Raiders for a while unless they do some major things for him. And let me tell you, in my opinion, the only way that Devontae Adams stays with the Raiders if you trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the only way, right? I mean, and nobody know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers' future's up there. I mean, he's been rumored already to the Jets and the Raiders. The rumors already started way before this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They're always going to be there.
If the Packers, end up getting the playoffs and making a big run, which they got to get some help and stuff to get there and win. But if the Packers were ending up like really trying to move on from Aaron Rodgers, listen, I mean, Derek Carr. right? I mean, it gives you a quarterback, right? You could trade for Derek Carr,
If you're the
right?
Packers,
Yeah, like you could trade for Derek Carr and let Derek Carr and Jordan Love battle it out, right? For the starting job.
well, that's a big rumor.
Yeah, like you could let those battle it out for the starting job. And then you got Aaron Rodgers who could come to the Raiders, right? And then you get to keep Devontae Adams because that'll be one person that could settle Devontae Adams down
Yeah, I
just
see
a
what you're
bit.
saying, but
Yeah, but I do not think of anybody else. If you bring anybody else in there, the quarterback that team, Devontae Adams ain't gonna be happy.
no.
Yeah, I don't see him. And here's some rumors that some more stuff that we'll get into the rumor side of things. Is one of the other ones that we're hearing is DeAndre Hopkins.
What are
So
you
we
hearing?
so we're hearing DeAndre Hopkins could end up being a trade candidate. The reason why is Kyler Murray won't be back until the mid-season. So a lot of people feel that the Cardinals might sell and get
Really?
rid of some of their contracts because they won't have Kyler Murray back to the halfway point of the season. Now, what that's going to do for their coaching job as well is I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury can hang on to it,
No,
but
he's out.
i- if he does, it's because that Kyler Murray is not going to come back until the halfway, and they got to get somebody to ride the ship. And it's going to be hard to convince a coach to come in there because Kyler Murray's not coming back to halfway the season, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to convince. So, I mean, there's something to monitor, right? A little bit on that one. But DeAndre Hopkins, actually, great player, like unselfish. He even said, I'm not a guy that needs the ball. I'm not a complainer. I know, but if you get me the ball, I know, I can help my team win if I do get the ball.
That's the
Right.
right way to go about it, but we all know that he wants to be.
Right. I mean, what his first game, I mean, they kept feeding him the rock and they won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's just the way it works. And DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best receivers in the league. That's what it is. I mean, you throw him a
Yep.
jump ball, he's probably going to catch it majority of the time. But DeAndre Hopkins will be. You're talking about. Wait, I'm going to throw this out there. You're talking about one of the least free agent wide receiver classes, right?
Mhm.
Free agent wise, to possibly now having Brandon Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins, and Devontae Adams as trade bait for these teams.
That would be a good class right there, or a good
Yeah. Yeah, Devontae Adams, I mean, honestly, like he's gonna if you trade the Raiders trade him, he's gonna want to win, right?
I don't
Like
know.
he
It's just hard for me to believe he actually wanted to go to the Raiders anyways. I saw this coming
it's
a
because
mile
of
away.
Derek Carr, man. It's because
Yeah,
of
I
Derek Carr. They
guess.
played there in college. They're best friends. You know what I mean? He's his godfather to his daughter,
Uh,
right? Yeah. So a lot of different things there, and like he's not gonna be happy if you do Derek Carr dirty, right? Like he's too close to Derek Carr if you do him
yeah.
dirty. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So the other one, when you think about it, is DeAndre Hopkins has never said anything about the Cardinals. He won't because he's a good guy, right? He
Yeah.
never will. But what we've heard is the Cardinals could lose some contracts in the off season. They're already going. JJ Watt already retired this week. Big shout out to JJ, great guy. I mean, in my opinion, one of the greatest guys in the NFL. How he wants to help people. I really
Yeah.
respect JJ Watt a lot. What comes to mind in JJ Watt to me, not only is he a great player and he's playing at a top level right now, and a lot of people have mentioned him in rumors to like the Steelers and the Packers and some of these teams before he decided to retire. But one of those things is, JJ Watt, I remember a few months ago, just this lady was like, hey, I had the death in the family. I'm going anybody interested in my JJ Watt jersey because I had to,
I saw
pay,
that.
pay for funeral. Listen, this was not like a publicity stunt or anything like that. This was just somebody that needed some money to bury a loved one during COVID, right?
And he
And
paid for that
right,
funeral.
and he was like, "Listen, you don't have to sell your jersey." Right. And he took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
He is a great
JJ,
guy.
yeah, he's a really good guy. And they're just countless of things that he's done with the Houston community. Just a really good guy. I really hate to see him retire, but happy for him, get to spend time with his family. He said it exhausts him. He's played with the Texans and the Cardinals. It probably, it was some tough times, honestly,
Yeah.
probably. And you want to be able to win. I thought he might go to a winner this year.
He wanted to win. He thought the Cardinals were going to be a winner, but no.
Yeah, I thought that he might go like to a team like maybe the Chiefs, the Steelers, somewhere like that.
I thought the Rams last year, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors floating around this year because he's going to be a free agent. But JJ Watt say he's going to open up some cap space. You're talking about, he's a free agent, and the Cardinals was not going to sign JJ Watt back anyway. Right?
No.
Let's be real about that, right?
Right.
They were not going to sign. When you're talking about free agency and things, and I want to mention somebody else just real quick. Laramie Tunsil said he wanted to be the highest paid tackle. He wanted to reset the tackle market. Right?
Yeah, I did see that.
So when you're looking at that, if the Texans don't want him to reset the tackle market, they're one team that comes to mind that I really, really like him for. If a trade happens, that's the Bears.
Wait, for who?
For Laramie Tunsil.
Oh, a trade? Yeah, but who do you think would trade for him?
The Bears.
Why? Because all the cap space they got?
Yep. Because, when you got a lot of cap space that you do, they got 53 million more than any other team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're talking about cap space for next year, we're just going to go over that for a second. The Bears have 123 million. The Falcons have 70 million. The Giants have 59 million. The Patriots have 55 million. And the Seahawks have 53 million. Jeez. Now, the Seahawks have to sign a quarterback, which likely will probably be Geno Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to take some of that cap room, right? The Giants have to sign Saquon Barkley, and if they decide to come back to Daniel Jones. So you're using a lot of that cap space that they have for that. The Falcons have a lot of money here to invest in some players because they have 70 million.
But do you think that you mentioned somebody just a second ago who's going to re-sign a quarterback? Now, I get the Seahawks and Geno, but you mentioned someone else was going to be back. Who was that you just said?
Yeah, the Giants, they're going to have Saquon, and they got Daniel Jones. So
you think they're going to re-sign Saquon?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely think him even over Daniel Jones. Like, I do think Daniel Jones will be somebody they want to try to re-sign too, but I think Saquon Barkley will definitely be re-signed.
Interesting. Hot take, man.
Yeah. The Falcons, you know what? I think they'll invest in that big running back market that's open. There are all kinds of running backs.
Yeah.
There are tons of running backs, really good running backs in this offseason, from Josh Jacobs. We already talked about Saquon probably going back to the Giants, but they're like, you got Miles Sanders. They're tons. They're tons of running backs, like Jeff Wilson, just Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
Like, there are tons of running backs. And the Falcons, I look for Tim to make a move running back.
Boat says Barkley's going to get paid big by New York, so he thinks he'll be back as well.
I think so. I want to talk to you about what's going to happen with Derek Carr, though. Think about, how I just threw all these numbers out?
Yeah.
So if Derek Carr gets released, the Raiders go up to the third cap space under the Falcons to $65 million.
Yep.
So you're talking about they'll have to go get a quarterback, which, could be, possibly Mac Jones, right? And
Possibly.
or if the Patriots want to trade him, it's all up to them. Then you got Tom Brady as a name. Listen, if they lose out on Mac Jones, if Mac Jones is not available for trade, Tom Brady decides to do other things. Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's what I was thinking too.
Jimmy Garoppolo could be a guy that the Raiders really,
Oh,
really
for
like.
sure.
Yeah. And Jimmy Garoppolo could be somebody that could be, he knows the system, knows everything about it. I mean, he's going to have other suitors too. Let's not lie here.
Yeah.
He's going to have a lot of other suitors, but man, Josh McDaniels could probably make a really, really good pitch, man, for
He
Jimmy
could.
Garoppolo.
He'd
Because
probably just offer him a starting job.
Yeah. And but like I said, there are going to be a lot of teams that's interested in Jimmy, but that's another team when you're talking about it is, in my opinion, I think that's going to be big. Honestly,
Boat says, I think Jimmy's going to Miami. No
he
way.
he
You
could,
think?
he could. I mean, you know what I mean. I think a lot of teams is going to be interested in it. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? Here, I think when you're looking at it, Jimmy Garoppolo will be sought after by teams that know him.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
True.
I think the Panthers will definitely be interested. Don't get me wrong. But I think that the three biggest suitors for Jimmy G will be the Jets, possibly the Dolphins,
Yeah.
and then the Raiders. Right.
He says Tua's flaming out hard. Do you think they're done with Tua there?
I don't think they're done with Tua, but listen, I think that Jimmy Garoppolo could provide insurance if something happens.
I don't
with
think
Tua.
Jimmy's going to go somewhere where he thinks he'll be a backup.
Well, not necessarily be a backup, but they might tell him, "Hey, I will let you compete for the job."
I
Right.
think he's tired of that, though.
Maybe he's a really good team player. Like, he did big things for Trey Lance. He's,
That's true.
and a lot of people's going to be open, be like, "Hey, if you come here, we'll let you start a year if we got a young quarterback." Like, I think about the Texans for a moment, right? Like,
Yeah.
if the Texans draft a quarterback number one, a lot of those times they don't put those quarterbacks into the fire just yet, right? So I think when you're looking at that, Jimmy Garoppolo could work well with the young quarterback and mentor him. And like, hey, they tell Jimmy he could start for about a year for the Texans, and they draft a young quarterback. I mean, that's another option. Their GM there drafted Jimmy G. Last one that I have for this, and I'm going to talk about some coaches in a second, is Baker Mayfield. So Baker Mayfield has really played well as he's came into the Rams. He actually, it was second ever to Kurt Warner in completions on the Christmas game. So that's pretty big. One of the things that I will tell you, just doing some research, the draft research, and by the way, our draft guru guy is going to be here next week. He had some, sadly had a funeral he had to attend. My condolences.
The NFL Rookie Watch.
Yep, he'll be back with us next week. Had some things going on for the holidays and things like that. So he'll be a mainstay on the show for all the
hopefully,
way
start the New Year's with a bang. And we'll have him around.
Yeah, he's gonna come and talk about all the rookies, and not only that, all the draft picks that's coming up. So one of the big things is Baker Mayfield. New England spent tons of time with Baker Mayfield in the draft process.
New England did?
Yep, tons of time, right? And doing some research on this. And one of the players that Josh McDaniels was very high on was Baker Mayfield. So he could be, like, in my opinion, like the last option.
Like a free agent kind of.
Yeah, like if you can't get Jimmy, you can't convince Tom Brady, you can't trade for Mac Jones. Baker Mayfield is option number 4, in my opinion, right?
That could be interesting.
Right. So think about this. Mac Jones, Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, Baker Mayfield. They got options. I mean, I'm not saying none of these people's better than Derek Carr at this point in their career, maybe Brady. I'm never going to say nobody is not as good as Tom Brady, right? I mean, he's won so many games, like, here at the last second again this year, right? Of course,
Yeah.
Tom Brady's awesome, right? Mac Jones is better with Josh McDaniels. He's proved that. Jimmy Garoppolo can learn the system. Baker Mayfield, maybe around the right people he showed, like McVay, he can be a decent quarterback, right? And but
Decent.
yeah, Baker. I mean, I'm not a huge Baker fan, honestly.
Mhm.
But I do respect his game. I do respect the heart he plays with. Like he loves playing football. I do respect that.
And the hard
And
head he uses to headbutt his players with no
yeah,
helmet.
yeah, but like think about this. You bring Baker Mayfield on and say, "Hey, Devontae Adams, Baker Mayfield's your new quarterback."
I
Hey,
think Devontae Adams would throw a fit.
yeah, he
I
don't want
think
to.
he would.
Yeah, Devontae Adams, in my opinion, will definitely ask for a trade if you do Derek Carr dirty, right?
They've
Uh,
already done him dirty, dude.
they've done him dirty, but I'm talking about if it gets even dirtier, right?
Yeah, they're gonna release him. Devontae Adams is like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, he even said, I mean, I'm not going to address my future with the team, dude. If you're staying, you don't say that.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's just as easy as it comes. It's easy peasy there, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy when it comes to that, right? Like it's easy. You know what I mean? It's just simple. But I want to talk about some of the coaches real quick.
Yep.
Steve Wilkes. I'm going to drop a little thing on him on Twitter in a little bit, but
Okay.
he is going. I really, really believe that the Panthers will definitely consider him bringing him back. He has really changed the atmosphere of that, right?
But to me, is his track record. He's not a winning coach.
Yeah, true, but the players love him. That means a lot, right? In Carolina,
Yeah,
they got a really good defense, and the defenses play really well. They need a quarterback. Let's just be honest
they
here.
really do.
They need a quarterback, right? They need a quarterback,
Yeah.
and it would not surprise me. I know Byron Leftwich has had a tough year for the Bucks. If the Bucks like flutter more, and end up making a playoffs, but maybe like one and out or something, and the Bucks decide to go different direction with Leftwich. Steve Wilkes, when he was with the Cardinals, Byron Leftwich was his OC. So that might be a link to watch.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, might be a link. I'm sure the Steelers will be interested in Leftwich too if he becomes available because he was a quarterback there, worked with Ben and a lot of other players.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
really close to Mike Tomlin, so that's something probably to watch as well. We reported this is yesterday, which is it came from a lot of different people. I'm not going to source just one person. It came from tons of different people. Is Jim Irsay's not expected to bring Jeff Saturday back, and why would you? Honestly,
At this point, yeah, it's not working.
Well, think about this, Jeff Saturday. Somebody made a point to this, and I've got a few questions I'm going to answer from my emails this week.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a sec.
Right, and but Jeff Saturday was a part of the biggest comeback in NFL history. Right.
The losing side of it.
Yeah, the losing side. Right. And he has done not very well with the team. Not saying that they have a ton of talent there. They do got talent in a lot of areas. But they brought him in to kind of shake things up. And DeForest Buckner said that he has brought a different feel to the locker room, which is
I like
good.
him. I like his attitude. I really do. Yeah. He's just not winning games.
Right. And what I think they're wanting to do is make a splash on a big head coach. It would not surprise me. I'm not saying Jim Harbaugh will go anywhere. Like a lot of rumors came out that Jim Harbaugh will be interested in the Cardinals. I don't think he'll be interested in the Cardinals with Kyler Murray out half the season. Right.
I don't think.
Yeah. That's not a selling point. The Colts, a team that he played for, he's probably got links to the organization.
Yeah.
So Colts could be somebody, in my opinion, that go hard after Jim Harbaugh. Right.
Okay.
I think he can be somebody the Colts go really hard after. Right. And because one of the things that their owner said is he is looking at all coaches, even in college. Well, I mean, if that sparks some debate, I mean, Jim Harbaugh
Dude,
bringing him
Harbaugh
in
would bring
there.
so much fire.
Yeah, I want to tell you one here that is something to watch. Now I know Eberlus is the coach of the Bears. Now you know you got to hear me out on this one, okay?
Yeah.
You know I'm not saying Eberlus is going to get fired or anything, right?
Eberflus?
Yeah, I'm sorry if I mispronounced
That's
his
all
name.
right. It's all right.
Yeah, but Pete Thamel is reported that you know Kevin Warren is a finalist for the Bears president job,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he is well respected around the NFL, as Adam Schefter talked about. But let me tell you who he's close to: Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Jim
How so?
Harbaugh played in Chicago, right?
Okay.
As
Yeah.
well, and like I think that I think that is something to really, really, really monitor, right? Maybe if Jim Harbaugh goes back to Michigan this year, but if Kevin Warren takes this job, I think that's something really to watch in the future is Jim Harbaugh in Chicago.
Boat says Harbaugh to Indy would be cool. He still likes
Yep.
him because he's a Niners fan. I think, I don't know, I feel like Indy would be the better fit for him. I
Yeah,
feel like there's more
well,
talent.
exactly. But you gotta like really Jim Harbaugh wants control, right? So
Yeah.
let me tell you what that means if you hire him in Indy. That means that you're probably going to have to say bye to Chris Ballard, right? But
Yeah.
and you're going to have to let Jim Harbaugh bring in somebody that he kind of works with, kind of like Kyle Shanahan did with John Lynch,
Yeah.
right? That's probably what that means. Jim Harbaugh would want control of the 53-man roster. He did. Listen, this is the problem in San Francisco. Trent Baalke and Jim Harbaugh hit heads because of the control of the roster and control of the personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the problem they
Good
had.
point.
Yeah, so he's wanting to go to a team where he has a lot of control, right? Like if
Yeah.
somebody offers Jim Harbaugh control, that'd probably be the team that he will tend to. Um, but see, the Bears hired the GM, and there's a lot of people say they really like him, right? The new GM in Chicago. So
Yep.
it'll be interesting just to watch the Bears and watch Kevin Warren, see what happens there. Um, but another part of it is I would just say that the Colts is, I agree. I think the Colts is a team to watch for Jimmy Harbaugh. You know, he done really well in San Francisco. Rumor is we'll throw some of these out there that we heard as well. Um, these are some actually really, really pretty good ones that we didn't expect this early. But
What's that?
Vic Fangio is
Big
one of
Fangio,
is one of the biggest defensive coordinator free
he's so
agents
good.
out there, right? So here's what you got right now. If Jim Harbaugh coaches, he's planning to recruit Vic, and he's planning to recruit the Texans offensive coordinator, Pat Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's who he wants to bring on. Rumor has it, right? And the other part of it is Sean Payton is telling teams, right?
He's got an all-star cast ready.
Yep, sending feelers out, right? That's what these coaches do. And
Man,
players do
imagine
that
that.
too. They just send feelers out like, hey, guess what? My defensive coordinator will be this guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Imagine though, Sean Payton, offensive-minded head coach, Vic Fangio, freaking amazing defensive coordinator,
yep.
and then Pep Hamilton maybe as your offensive coordinator.
Well, like I don't know who he would take as the offensive coordinator, but let's imagine that the Chargers fire their head coach. That
Yeah.
just saying, I mean, nobody knows. They're in the playoffs. So, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch. But the reason I just mentioned the Chargers, no slide for their head coach there. But one of the things that I just want to bring up is I really think that when you look at that, like this is teams that he's mentioned.
Yeah.
Right. This is teams that he's mentioned is the Chargers.
Well, if the Chargers want to win, here's the thing. They made the playoffs, and I feel like that might mistakenly keep Brandon Staley there. I do think
could.
Brandon Staley needs to be gone. Making the playoffs is not a reason to keep Staley.
Well, I think this, in my opinion, the two teams that he's really mentioned to wanting to go to is the Chargers and the Cowboys, right? So the
Yeah.
Chargers, when you look at that, if you brought in Fangio and you as the defensive coordinator, keep in mind he worked with Khalil Mack in Chicago,
Yeah.
right? And he's already there. He already, and so he's going. He was going to be inherit a really great defense, right? And then you got Sean Payton, working with Herbert, Mike Williams, Keelan. I mean, even though if your coach does well, I mean that's a heck of a selling point, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at that, the other team, the Cowboys, if the Cowboys go to the playoffs and it's one game and out, yeah, if they do, now Richard Sherman, he said last night, hey, the Cowboys can play the regular season good, but he wants to see what they do in
On the road in
January.
the playoffs.
Yep. They're going to have to play the road. The last time the Cowboys won a road game, Troy Aikman was their quarterback.
95, right?
Yep. There you go, against the Niners.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So when you look at that, when you think about this, is more than likely, like if they go to the playoffs and they lose, the Cowboys are going to be like, man, they're going to be like, oh gosh, like fire Mike McCarthy, right? It's what they're going to be hauling for
Oh,
sure.
for sure.
And then Sean Payton just sitting there, right? Vic Fangio could come in and do your defense. Dan Quinn will likely move on to be a head coach somewhere anyway, right? More than likely. And so you got a lot of that movement. So hey, nothing's probably out of the way work on any of that, right?
Right.
So
Boat says great stuff. Got to go to work. I appreciate
right.
you stopping by, Boats. Seriously, means a lot to us.
Yep.
Have a great day at work, and we'll see you
Yeah,
next Friday
definitely.
as well for the New
Thank
Year's.
you for coming in. We appreciate it. I want to go to some questions now, Tanner.
Yeah, let's go that, and then we
yeah.
can work on wrapping it up.
Yep. Yeah, so just talking about some of the emails that we got, I just want to grab them because we get a lot of people that email us, probably at least 500 to 1,000 a day.
That's
And
insane.
yeah, I know I can't read them all, but I definitely do try, right? And I do try to get through them. And I actually read some of these this week, and I really appreciate everybody sending us the emails. I definitely read them and go through them. And I appreciate everybody wishing us a Merry Christmas and all the love that you send us on the emails that you love the account. So we really, really, want to thank you for that. And that's reason we like doing the giveaways. It's really, I mean, a lot of people come and follow us anyway, which we really appreciate. But really, the giveaways is more of getting you something, right? Paying back. But one of the questions is, and I'll let you address this one. Who do you think will be the biggest news story of the off season? Tanner, I'm going to let you go first, then I'll go.
Well, there's so many things potentially happening. You can break that question down several ways. Was it player wise or coach wise?
I think there was meaning player wise.
Player wise, I mean, you can't hide the fact that Tom Brady, you never know if he's coming back, if he's playing again. That's going to be a big one, especially with maybe possibly Gronk coming back out of retirement at the end of the season, maybe for next year. I don't know. But player-wise, who's a superstar that either once traded or is a pending free agent? So you just got to think about that. You could have even like Devontae Adams, superstar wide receiver. He could be wanting traded. And if he gets traded, that's going to be blockbuster again. So, I mean, what do you think? Who do you think?
I think, in my opinion, the biggest news is going to be around Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, okay. That's always gathering. Yeah.
Yep.
That's always a big attention grabber.
Yeah, and I want and exactly the reply, like not only did I reply to these, I replied to tons of these emails, guys, over the last week. And like I said, I really appreciate it. And, I try to get to them all. I can't possibly get to them all, but I really do try. And when you're looking at it, I replied that this is my reply as well, is Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. We were talking about an off season where you could see two of the biggest name Hall of Fame quarterbacks go to different teams.
That's right. Yeah, he could.
Yep. So that's the biggest news story that I'm, working and, looking at everything that we have is, I think that could be the biggest news. There are always going to be surprise trades as well.
Yeah.
That nobody thought of. I mean, I think DeAndre Hopkins could be a surprise trade.
I was thinking that too.
Yep. I think he could. I think Devontae Adams could. I think that will be something to watch too. If the Raiders reset with Josh McDaniels, right? I think if they decide to reset everything.
What was the next question?
Yep. So the next question: who do you think has been I took this as a fantasy football, by the way. Who do you think has been the surprise of fantasy football?
The surprise?
There you go, Tanner. See what you got there.
Well, this whole year for me has been a surprise, dude. I didn't make the playoffs in either of my leagues. I did. But, man, one of the biggest surprises.
Let's call it like non-quarterback. Because
non-quarterback
because, honestly, if we pick quarterback, that's always going to be the biggest surprise due to the fact that you're, honestly, you're going to have a quarterback's going to score more points normally than anybody.
Yeah.
So the biggest surprise in fantasy football. I have mine. I'll let you get yours.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like who's had a surprising year. There's guys that I know I go to every year that I'm like, that's a safe pick. That's a safe pick, but they're always picked. Man, probably there's a couple guys that come to mind.
Okay.
Because I guess A.J. Brown for me, I didn't expect him to perform this. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're like, oh, he's going to be a wide receiver one there. But I didn't expect him to perform this well with the Philadelphia Eagles. I really didn't. Mm-hmm. I didn't think the Eagles were even going to be what they are this year. So A.J. Brown for me was the biggest fantasy surprise.
Yeah, I think they're better than a lot of people thought, for sure. A.J. Brown didn't surprise me a bunch, but I did think I think I'm on the same level you are on that, because I thought it would be more shared with Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I did too. And he's really coming along himself. Like a really nice 1-2 punch there at receiving, but I did not expect A.J. Brown to put up the touchdown numbers that he is, especially the touchdowns.
For me, the surprise is Josh Jacobs.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Yep, he is third in fantasy scoring among running backs and wide receivers, behind Austin Eckler and Justin Jefferson. Josh Jacobs is also a free agent.
Yeah.
Now, he said that he has money that he's already put back, and he wants to spend his career with the Raiders. Right.
They didn't even pick up his 5th-year option.
Yeah, true. But I do think that I do think the Raiders will franchise if they can't sign him. I do. I really believe that. Right. I do think that they won't take losses in all areas. You know what I mean? Like if they have to trade Devontae Adams or something like that, they're gonna keep Josh Jacobs. So I think Josh Jacobs is my surprise in fantasy.
That's a good one.
Yep. Great question. So question number 3. How do you get the impressions you get? Right. So I took this one. So honestly, guys, not only when we first started, definitely we had the, Adam Schefter, the rap sheets, the Josina Andersons, definitely that we got info, of course, from when we started the account. As the account has grew, other people has came to us, and we have made relationships with other teams. and other players such as scouts, players, things like that. And then, they give us that information and, hey, maybe, send a feeler out. I mean, we've had a couple players. It's like, hey, where are you hearing that I'm going?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We had that. Well, I remember, a couple that I shared with you, Tanner, there.
I do
But
remember.
yeah, but they would send us out and say, hey, with that, and then not only that, I mean, we look also at the trending news, and the biggest things we do a lot of work on the web. Really do a lot of looking with our interns. They scour the web for the best news stories so that they can give you everything that's happened in the NFL, as long as with some of the guys that are definitely reporting, like we said, the rap sheet, the Adam Schefters of the world, um, the Jordan Schultz of the world. But one of our biggest, another part of that question was like, one of our funnest times, honestly, is the off season. Now I love the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, but the off season is huge. Normally, the off seasons where you need to follow. That's our bread and butter. We normally have all your rumors, all your links to the players. I mean, we had like an 88%, correct uh, linkage last season, 88% projection rate, which is one of the top. Um, another thing that we do is we have analytics that power some of that, where we use analytics to look at different scenarios where they go. Some of that is based on analytics, and then some of that, somebody passes stuff along to us actually as well. So at first, if you're trying to do this, definitely you small beginnings, starting out, you know, looking and, reporting some of that stuff. And then, as you grow, I mean, you're going to have people that'll definitely make relationships with you. And, you know, you want to just make sure that you're building those relationships as you go along. And you're going to have a lot of people that'll catch up to you. You know what I mean? Right now, we have over 50 NFL players that's playing right now that follow us. So it happens. It just takes time.
It
And
really does take time, and I've learned that myself.
yeah, it just takes time, but we're just trying to get the best stuff out there. Like we added the NFL Rookie Watch. He's a great account. He's done a really good job with the rookies and drafts. So we're trying to get all your draft needs. I've got all your rumors. Tanner's got a lot of your breaking news.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of that, right? And we got so you got a lot of avenues with NFL rumors right now, and so we're really honestly humbled, and we're thankful. We started small beginnings too. You know what I
Everybody
mean?
does. And you just got to persistence, guys. Stay persistent in everything that you do. And
Yep.
eventually it'll pay off.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
timetable it's different for everybody, but you just got to put in the work and it will pay off.
Yep. There you go. There you go. Yep. So then we got a question. Another question is interesting. Who do you think will be the biggest surprise move in free agency, Tanner?
Biggest surprise move?
In free agency. Yep. Someone asked. That was question 4.
I mean, who's the pending free agent?
We got a ton of running backs. We got Lamar
you got
Jackson.
Saquon. Lamar Jackson is a running back, but he can run like a running back or a quarterback. But yeah,
Yep. I'm going to just throw some out there to you, right?
yeah,
So these are some of our top free agents as well. Is reported by CBS Sports. Shout out to CBS Sports. Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, James Bradbury, Jamel Dean, Marcus Davenport, Orlando Brown,
all big ones.
Saquon Barkley, Geno Smith, Josh Jacobs. out of those top people, do you see any of them like
Moving on.
moving to a different team?
For
Who
sure.
do you see at that list? Who do you see somebody on that list that could surprise you?
Someone that could surprise me is Lamar Jackson. Now, do I see him with the Ravens still? Yeah. But if they haven't extended him by now, I mean, there's trouble there, dude. It's almost a slap in his face. So, I mean, that I wouldn't be surprised if he moved on, but I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed there either.
I'll tell you what, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I've also listened to a lot of insider. Shout out to the 33rd team as well.
Yep.
I've listened to a lot of them when they're talking about this, and I definitely agree with them. But Eric DeCosta is not big in overpaying or paying big lump sums to people.
Yeah.
Right? Lamar Jackson might be somebody that he tags, right? This is my opinion. Lamar Jackson might be somebody that he tags, but it also could be somebody that he trades. Right?
Like tag and trade?
Yeah, like just have them there, get, and let him go somewhere to sign. Now, you have the Atlanta Falcons that will be big. They missed out on Deshaun Watson. They're needing a quarterback. That system is set up for a quarterback that can roll out, run, make those passes. I think that somebody look at. I'll be honest. I think Miami is a team that would be appealing to Lamar Jackson because they have Tyreek Hill, they have Jalen Waddle. Everybody likes Mike McDaniel. I know Tua's there. But a chance to get Lamar Jackson.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I
think got a chance at him.
One. James Bradbury, to me, listen, I know he's with the Eagles now, but listen, he's playing good. He's a cornerback too for the Eagles. I believe that James Bradbury will go and get paid somewhere. Right. I believe so he can be a cornerback one somewhere.
I think so.
Yep, I do.
I think that depends on how this season ends, though.
Yep. I mean, right now, James Bradbury, no matter really how the season is, in my opinion, Tanner, which is still a good call, but James Bradbury is like one of the top 3 cornerbacks in completions allowed.
Yeah, he's playing phenomenal this year. Their secondary is so good right now.
Yep. So, that helps him definitely. He's got some good pieces there in that Eagles secondary. But James Bradbury has been locked down. And when you look at the cap space with teams, you look at the Bears, the Falcons, the Giants, the Patriots, the Seahawks, the Raiders. You know what I mean? I meant the James, if he wants to get paid there, could go the Texans. The Ravens have $47 million in cap space next year, but they have to devote some of that to Lamar Jackson. Even if they franchise him and they want to franchise him and trade him.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the Ravens are interesting. They're going to be shaken up next year, I think, big time.
Yeah, I want to share with you really quick. One of the it's around a question that I asked. Could you tell me the worst 5 teams in cap space? Was one of the questions. So
okay,
that was my last question. And I was like, okay, that's a good question. Good question. So these might surprise you.
Okay.
The Saints are $53 million over projected for next season.
All right.
They always are now, and they had to make moves. But I do think this year they'll make some big moves. Like, I think they'll get rid of Michael Thomas for sure.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yep, and they're going to need a quarterback and things of that nature, so they're going to have to make moves. Now, the Bucks are a team normally that's not in this, but they are right now. They're $41 million over next season.
Okay, yeah.
So you got Tom Brady, who could definitely move on.
He gone.
Yeah, and you got a lot of different players. And then not only that, their whole secondary is almost free agents. That's not even counting against this Tanner. So their secondary is not even accounted for none of this overage.
Really?
And they're all going to be free agents, their whole secondary. Yeah, so they have a lot of things that they got to work out right next season.
Yeah, the Bucks are a dumpster fire right now, I think.
Yep, the Titans. I know a team that you're not crazy fond of, right?
Nope, not at
but
all.
they're $17 million over next season. And there's speculation that they might move on from Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, they will.
Yep. So, he would be one contract that they could move that would help their cap space.
Yeah. Believable.
So the Chargers, we talked about Sean Payton possibly looking at that as a big opportunity. The Chargers are $7 million over.
That's not terrible.
No, I think
That's
you can
manageable.
I think you can make moves to, offset some of that. Honestly, you could do some restructures with Keenan Allen and some of those guys. They will be open to doing restructures with you.
Oh, for sure. I think so.
Yeah,
they got to get rid of Staley, bro. In my opinion, they got to.
Well, I mean, if you bring Sean Payton and you Fangio, I mean, one of the things we didn't talk about Fangio just real quick, and I got a couple more I'll talk to you about, is one of the things that came out this week as well.
Yeah.
That we tweeted about is Kyle Shanahan reportedly, he really believes that D'Amico Ryans will get a job this offseason.
He will.
Right. And I believe he will too. Right. I think he'll be at the top of a lot of lists. Right. But, he is very close to Fangio. He worked with him on the Texans staff. Okay. And a lot of people thinks that he has his eyes on Vic Fangio to bring him back. See, that's different. Like, Vic Fangio will never go to the Denver Broncos. He was a head coach there and got fired. He's never going back there to be a defensive coordinator. Like a lot of people say, hey, Sean Payton, bring Vic Fangio to Denver. No, that's not happening. Because he's not going to come there as a defensive coordinator. Right? Now, he was a defensive coordinator with the Niners. When they had Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, that really good defense. Yeah.
Oh.
So he was a defensive coordinator for Jim Harbaugh. So that's why Jim Harbaugh wants him to be the the DC if he gets a job, right? But think about this. Kyle Shanahan has some good links to Vic, and he could definitely say, hey, I've got a number one defense here. I just lost my defensive coordinator too. Why don't you come here and be my defensive coordinator? And then when my defense does really well, you can go get a head coaching job.
Yeah.
That could be his opening to get a head coach again. The 49ers. That's a good
point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's something to watch. So here's some other things. The Vikings are $6 million over. Like, I'm not really worried about that one. I was telling, and I promised I would go on these overages. I know we're going over a little bit, but I emailed back and I said, I'll go over everybody that's kind of a little over on the cap. And so the Vikings are $6 million. I think they can manage that with some restructures. That shouldn't be a big deal. The Jaguars are $5 million over next season. I think that they got some things that they got to work on, like they got to bring a couple people back. But also, I think that they can work around maybe Marvin Jones. You might see him as a release, maybe.
They will. I think so.
Or something like that, because they already got good weapons there.
Excuse me.
Yep. So, and remember, they traded for the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver who can't play because of betting.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, so they got him just on the wings for next year.
Jeez, I forgot about that, man.
Yeah.
Like, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, so they have Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones.
And possibly Evan Ingram if they resign him.
Evan Ingram if they resign him. They're set.
Yeah.
For a while.
Jags are doing good. They spent a lot of money, though.
Packers are $4 million over the cap.
Not surprising.
No, I think that they'll have to make some moves. If they decide to move on from Aaron Rodgers, that's going to free up tons, and they're going to move their way up on the undercap situation.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's not a surprising one, though.
Yep. The Bills are $4 million over. They got so many players like Josh Allen that's getting a lot of money that could restructure his contract. And Von Miller will restructure his contract. Stephon Diggs will restructure his. Like all these people will restructure their contract and get them under. It's no problem.
You think so?
Yep. The Dolphins, $2 million over. This is the last one that is over the cap for next season. $2 million over. I mean, it's nothing major. I mean, you could look at some of the players. They could restructure probably some of those contracts that they just did, like Tyreek Hill. Yeah. They could restructure a contract. Bradley Chubb. Even Xavier Howard, because they paid him. They could give him the money up front a little bit or signing bonuses and probably end up saving a bunch. But
the Miami Dolphins.
Yep, definitely. So when I look at the people in cap trouble, these are my top three. The Saints, the Bucks, and the Titans.
Okay.
The Saints have got a history of being able to get under. That's the reason I know I've got them number one, but they got a history, man, of being able to get under, right? So they know how to do it. The Bucks,
they're just going to fall apart.
I'm worried, man. I'm worried about the Bucks with their salary cap situation.
Yeah,
they got a lot of weapons like Mike Davis, Leonard Fournette, not Mike Davis, excuse me. But Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, they got a lot of people, right? And you got Tom Brady. I mean, you're talking about a ton of people, man, that they, I think that they're really going to have to really look at and really restructure. But Tampa worries me, man, for next season.
I don't think they're not keeping Brady. They're done.
Can I tell you something else real quick about it before we go? So that don't even count Tom Brady. They're 40 million. It don't even count Tom Brady. They're 41 million over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that because he's a free agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that don't even count Tom Brady. So
dang.
Yeah,
they're done, dude.
Yeah, so they got a lot.
They had their Super Bowl. They're back down on the list.
Yeah, they got a lot of moves that they really, really got to make, right? They got a ton of it because Tom Brady, Tom Brady will he'll eat up some of the cap but they can do a sign and trade with them. But I think the way that they got his prorated bonus, it's $35 million.
Yeah.
So if they let go of that, they should be. If they do a prorated cap bonus, that should be about $6 million. Then they'll be over. Only $6 million. But they got other players that they got to look at. They got to probably limit Shaquille Barrett's contract. His cap number is $21 million.
Oh my gosh.
Mike Evans' cap number is $23 million. Chris Godwin's cap number is $23 million.
Didn't they just sign Godwin to an extension?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, you're talking about some big time cap numbers. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've got 10 players with over a $15 million cap number.
Yeah. Wow.
They got some major work to do. Brady will help them if he gets them off the books to head toward $10 million.
Still, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, but that is what it is. Well, that's really all that we got for today. We got some interesting topics. We got some really good playoff games going down. Very important games next week. Make sure that you're dialed in. A lot of teams can make the playoffs. A lot of teams can improve their position this week. So a lot of good stuff. What are you looking forward to, Tanner, before we get ready to go?
Man, I'm just looking forward to the new year. We're going to have playoffs. You got Super Bowl coming up eventually, but really, man, the playoffs starting. We got a New Year's. I'm just excited. I think it's going to be a great year for this channel. I think it's going to be a great year for NFL Rumors, NFL Rumors podcast. We're not going anywhere, guys. Only thing we're doing is climbing the ladder. We're going to keep taking over, and we appreciate you all being here. And that's what I'm excited for.
Definitely, and want to give a shout out to, like, if you look at all the platforms that we've done the podcast on. Now we're not talking about Twitter views, right? Because Twitter views is like, we're not talking really about Twitter tweet views. I'll put it like that. We're not talking about that because we normally get like 100 million of those a month, right? But we're talking about podcast views, right? We're talking about where the podcast is viewed on each platform. We have already this is our 10th episode. We have over 50,000 views in 10 episodes already.
That's pretty good.
Yep, it's going. Definitely some really good stuff going on there. We're just keeping on driving there, and we're definitely trying to look for that 100,000 view, 1 million views next year target, and I think we can definitely get it. We have a lot of great support. We've got a lot of great people behind us, so we definitely appreciate everybody, and I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Have a blessed new year with your family. Hope it's your best year yet, and definitely keep on sending me those emails. I'll definitely take a look at them, and we really appreciate the questions. And Tanner, you got to follow this guy. Like, he's upcoming. He's an upcoming guy. I've known him for a long time. He's been one of my interns starting out. Now he's went on and done his own thing. We got the podcast together, and you need to go follow this guy. He's upcoming. He's got a lot of different contacts as well.
I'm starting to make him, man. Starting to get some contacts around the league, and that's my goal, man. Just planning to take on over and continue to build my bridges along the way. And I appreciate you letting me host your podcast. I love doing it. And yeah, man, like, guys, we are totally grateful for all the support on this podcast so far. Like you said, over 50,000 plays and views on our podcast just through 10 episodes or 9 episodes. This is episode 10. So hopefully more after this. And we're going to start off the New Year's with a bang with the podcast. I think it's going to go somewhere great, guys.
Yep, definitely. Keep on the watch. Make sure you subscribe to the channel of Tanner's. That's where we host up the podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notifications. It will let you know when a podcast is going down. But we're going to have like all the rumors of the off season there, all the projections where your team might be signing somebody.
That's right.
We're going to have all that, right? We're going to have special shows. Breakdowns of teams and who might be cut. Last year, we did a cut segment, and 90% of the people that we did the segment on were cut.
That's accurate, dude.
Yep.
You guys, you have to tune in during the offseason. This offseason, we're going to be bringing you the most breakdown possible of contracts, potential roster cuts. If you guys want to stay tuned, all your NFL rumors and projections, you got to listen to our podcast over the off season. That's where it's, like he said, that's their bread and butter, and that's where we're going to hit everything. So, but we'll get to that when we do. But man, it's going to be great during the off season.
Yeah, we'll. So, guys, we'll call it a day for now. But again, thank you for tuning in. You guys are awesome. We love our followers. Thank you for all you do. Get Tanner's name out there. Retweet the NFL rumors, definitely, and we really appreciate you. And you guys be blessed.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Happy New Year's, everybody, and we'll see you in episode 11 in 2023.